Billy, welcome back.
Hello.
So, by the end of 1998, you had an audition for a wee film called Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, was that up in Scotland? Was that in London?
Well, I heard about it. I was I was going through one of my keep fit phases, and I just came out of the gym, and there was a message on my phone to phone my agent, and she was saying that they were casting Lord of the Rings. I thought, my God, they're making that into a movie. That's quite incredible. Although I'd never read it at that point. Um, like everyone else, I think in Britain, they knew of it. So I thought, well, I definitely want to be seen for that. So they set up a meeting, and I went down and read for the casting director, people called the Hubbards in London, who had cast me before in a movie. And
So you had done other. I mean, just to clear it up for
yeah,
me, had you done any movie auditions before? Was it all theatre work since you left college?
no, no, I'd done a couple of movies, but British low budget movies, and some TV as well in London and Scotland. Uh, But so I knew these casting directors, John Hubbard, as I say. So when I went down, he was talking about, it's amazing that they're making Lord of the Rings, and I thought, yeah, it's totally. So we had a laugh and read a couple of scenes, kind of Hobbit scenes in the Shire that were never going to be in the film, but just to give an idea of what you sounded like and what you looked like. And those tapes were sent over to Peter Jackson, along with thousands of others from Los Angeles, New York, Sydney. They were casting all over the world. So it was quite a while before we heard back.
And so, when you heard back, were you surprised to hear back, or
Um,
was it still too far away from the end result to even care? It was like, okay, I've got another callback, fine, I'm gonna do it. Or,
yeah, it probably was more like that because you thought, well, they probably narrowed it down to the last 15,000, and
right.
so it wasn't a big deal. But when I arrived back at the Hubbards, I was speaking to one of the secretaries, and she was saying that they'd narrowed it way down to, 3 or 4 people for each part. I thought, my God, that's incredible. And she said, you'll also be amazed at how laid back it is for a big Hollywood movie, which is normally kind of, quite stressful auditions and stuff. And it was incredible. I walked into the room, and Pete Jackson is lying on the sofa in this audition room in his usual t-shirt and shorts and no shoes, like the hobbit that he is. And we then spent an hour doing some Pippin scenes, and he directed them, and we filmed them, and he spoke about what he thought hobbits were and what he thought the story was about and where Pippin fitted into that story. And I gave him feedback because I'd read some of the book by then, and so that's where that meeting went.
And so after that, you walked out the room. How did you feel? Did you go, well, that was fun. He's a nice chap. I'm going back up the road now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or did you have any kind of buzz? Did you go? Did you have an inkling?
That I've got that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I never get that.
Right.
When people say they come out of a room and think, I've got that job. I never feel like that. I just feel that went well, or I like that person, that I would like to work with them,
Hmm.
you know. And and it wasn't that long after that actually that I was told that I had the part.
So talk us through how you found it out. I mean,
I was back in Scotland, and I was working at the Traverse Theatre, working on a new script. So not to be on stage, but just working with a director and a writer, developing this new script to be ready to be rehearsed to be put on stage. And I got a phone call from my agent, and she said, "Guess who's playing Pippin in Lord of the Rings?"
that guy who was in before you.
Yeah, exactly. I said, "Who was that?" I was going to swear there, but I won't. No, so I thought, oh my God, that's incredible. And then I went
Did
back.
you sit down? I mean, did you know the scope of it? I mean, that you were going to be away for a long period of time. That it was super big budget film. I mean, did you have any idea, were you talked through that kind of, just how big it was
We,
in
I
every
think,
sense?
yeah, I think I had an idea that it was going to be something special, just from speaking to Peter and my agent and stuff. But at that point, I don't think we knew the time frame of it, or that we had to be there for the whole time, or what it was. I just felt like I wanted to do it, no matter what it was. It was Lord of the Rings. It's something that's been part of our society, our kind of collective consciousness for such a long time, that if they're going to put that into a film, I want to be part of it.
And so obviously Peter Jackson must have fired you up.
Yeah, he did in a sort of Peter way, yeah, in a kind of laid back New Zealand way. He does. He's he's quite an incredible man, actually. His his knowledge of everything that he's interested in is so vast that it it just makes you feel passionate about doing it, because you feel like this man is so passionate about it and he knows so much about it that I want to be part of this.
So you put the phone down, quite a thing, you obviously pinched yourself a couple of times.
Yeah,
A big job has come your way.
yeah.
And I mean, who did you tell? I mean, how could you? I mean, were you still under some kind of confidentiality? Was that kind of said you've got to keep that to yourself, or
No, I
did you
checked
just
that as
did you just go to the highest hilltop and go, "Hi, I'm Peregrin Took"?
exactly. No, I was just it was just really strange. For the first kind of couple of weeks, it was just a strange thing as we found out the details about it. And I got to reading the book, which is just so exciting, knowing that you're going to play one of those parts. To read the book under those circumstances is just incredible.
Mm.
Because every time something exciting happens to your character, you go, "Oh my God, is that going to be in the movie? That'd be so cool."
Mm.
So it was a great, great time. But it's funny, it's funny how no matter what happens to you in your life, it becomes normal life after a while.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know,
You
no
just get
matter
used to it, like a hot bath.
exactly. Oh my God, you think, and then that's me.
Yeah.
It's like the first time I got a job at the Lyceum, I thought, my God, I'm working at the Lyceum Theatre
Yeah.
in Edinburgh, and then it becomes your job. So one of the things that we had to do in New Zealand while we were there was to make sure that we always remembered what we were doing, that we were making Lord of the Rings, because over 15 months, it can become your life. You get to know people outside the movie, you know the restaurants you like to go to, and it becomes your life,
So again, it's like being back at the bookbinders, except with big rubber feet.
Exactly, it's exactly the same thing, and much longer hours. Yeah.
So you were kind of constantly reminded, gentlemen, you are filming Lord of the Rings.
No, we just had to, individually remember.
Right.
When you're getting up at 4:30 for the 10th day in a row, to get your rubber feet on, it can get quite tiring, and hanging around for that shot, and you might be hanging around for 10 hours for the right conditions to shoot that shot, and you do have to sometimes remind yourself what you're doing.
Billy, we'll talk further about the preparation to Lord of the Rings and
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings itself to shoot later, but for now, thanks again.
Yeah, that was great, thank you.